Hey, this is Neil. It's May 24th, 2024. This is a quick video for you, Barto, on 3 things I promised this morning. Just a description of the new descending order for the vlist API call. There's a new parameter called Skimp, which allows you to just get the IDs very quickly without loading all the video information. And lastly, you can put the authorization token into the query string using a query string parameter. And so I'm going to show all 3 of those things. And we'll just start from the top there. You'll notice here, if I refresh this and sign in, when I do the list, I now have order equals DESC. It's the same as SQL, right? Order equals descending. And what this does is it goes out and gets the IDs, sorts them in reverse lexical order, and then gives you the top max, which I have 5 here, so I'm going to get 5. And that allows me to look at the latest first, and then I can page down from there using the start and end, just like we normally do. So what I've got here in the MVP is I pull just the top 5, and when I detect there's more, I put the more button there. And so you can keep clicking more. You would do the same thing, but you wouldn't have a more button on your infinite scroll. It would just be doing this in the background. But same concept, very snappy, and no more trying to figure out some, I don't know why I designed it that way, where you'd have to issue a bunch of commands to really figure out the space of where somebody's videos are in the ID format. So there you go, order equals descending. There's also something, and it's kind of a toy use right now, but I have the Skimp parameter, and what the Skimp parameter does, if you just say Skimp equals true, then it gives you skimpy results. So instead of the results, if you look at the normal results, we have something like this, which has the ID and then all the data filled in. With skimpy results, you have the same thing, but none of the body. And I can look this up very, very quickly. It's really doing what I get all the IDs anyway. And if you are just doing skimpy, then I don't bother checking video object data. I just return the IDs as is. But I put it in the same JSON format, so you can. It's just a parameter away, and you should be able to absorb the results. This can be useful for very quickly getting in touch with the entire space. So if you're looking at, if you want to look at somebody's videos, you would say like, okay, index owner, because I only want their videos, max equals 0 means I want everything, and then order really doesn't matter here, and then skimp equals true, and this would very quickly come up with all the IDs for that particular user. And then using that, you can decide, oh, you could just tell them you've got 50 videos, right? Maybe that's a good use of the skimp parameter right now. This could also be used without an index, so we could look at all of the videos that are in Surfey right now. All the top level, this doesn't include responses. And it comes back, as you can see, in half a second for all the videos versus, I don't know how long it would take to load all that information and parse it. So here you go, descending, skimp, and then the last thing, if we look at one of these lovely videos, you'll notice that I'm on my personal domain, gibden.com, but it's able to load up thumbnails and videos and all that kind of stuff. And don't look so bored, Neil. When you're running into problems, it's hard to look excited. So let's pull up the ID for this, and I'm just going to show you what that looks like. So here's a static asset, thumb.gif, the animated thumbnail, and I'm passing in Surfey token equals and then the authorization header. So the same token that you would put into the authorization header, you can now put into the query string. The parameter name is configurable on the server, so you don't want to hard code this to Surfey-token. What you want to do when your app starts up is look at config/authorization cookie, because this is the same parameter name that's used for the cookie. It's also used in the URL parameter. I just share the same config op. Hit this endpoint and use that text to determine what parameter to use for those static assets, and then it will respond as usual. And as per looking at your video earlier, I did notice there is a bug where if you say redirect as manual, it doesn't check to see if that object exists on the server, if it's a get, and so the OR parameter doesn't work. So I notice you're doing a lot of work, and it's good work. You're doing a lot of work to try to figure out, does this URL go anywhere, this signed URL? But I don't want to take the time to generate a signed URL if the object doesn't exist. I think it'd be better for me to just use the OR option or return you a 404 right away. Or maybe the signed URL, the signed URL will just return a 404. So you're doing a lot of work there, which is good, but I think we need to clean up some of the API bugs so you don't have to have all those workarounds. All right, so just to recap, you've got 3 things. You can do order by descending now when you're looking at the vlist. Let's look at the headers here. So you can do order is descending. And you also have a new skimp option, skimp equals true, which just removes the bodies, comes back very quickly. And then the last thing is you can now pass in the authorization token as a query string parameter. And just remember, as a point to that, get the name of that parameter from the config/authorization cookie endpoint. All right, I hope this helps simplify some of your code and unblock some stuff. And I'll talk to you later.